All right, welcome everyone. Happy new moon. I'm Brian Hemmer with the Inevitable You, here with Isabella Sumner with the Inevitable You as well. And so our second new moon, official new moon ceremony that we're recording here. And I always like to start off with kind of just a basic intro. Why are we doing this? What's the point of this? What's the meaning of new moons? So for me, again, it's just another kind of check-in point versus following your standard, Gregorian calendar. It's following the lunar cycle. So every 28 days and change, a new cycle begins, where currently our Earth is directly in between the sun and the moon. And so the new moon, as it appears in the sky, you can't really see it because we're blocking the light of the sun. I think I'm getting that correctly, right, Isa? So that starts a whole new cycle, right? And then you start to see, what is it, a waxing going into, full moon, going to waning, and then the whole cycle starts over again. And so if you believe that there's more meaning to kind of the motions of the universe, the motions of our planets, that the moon has some kind of effect on us, just as it has on our oceans and on our plants, how things grow, how life happens on this planet. So we're just centering how we set intentions, how we create our lives, how the cycles of our life happen around the lunar cycle. And that's just a great time to set great intentions. We like to pull some tarot cards. We like to look deeper into what are the current meanings of, where the moon's falling in the astrological cycle. And then we can get down to the nitty gritty. We can go as personal as we want with this. So if anyone's interested in getting some tarot card readings or personal readings for this current cycle, please reach out to us. But again, new moons are generally awesome for reevaluating, seeing what was the last cycle like, what's the new cycle going to bring, and what do we want to create in our lives. So that's my kind of 101 on it. Anything you'd add to that, Isa?
Nope, I think you hit it right on the head.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'll turn it over to you. What do we have? What's the forecast for this lunar cycle?
Oh boy, man, oh man. Well, as we know, as you were just explaining, there's definitely a embodiment that comes from just the ebbs and flows that were created day over day, and then how it links more intentionally back into our growth cycle here. So in the last few weeks, we've had a lot of big changes. One of them was about 10 days ago, another powerful eclipse that included the planet Uranus, which is a powerful planet of liberation, freedom. It's really about like that self-identity, that self-expression, and really what you're presenting to the world. So basically just another huge transit. And I think with Jupiter and then with Uranus, there's just this like cosmic wake up to change, to grow, whether you are maybe ready for it or not. Which then leads us into, after that intense energy of an eclipse, there's really this like sense, I think, to really push forward, to want to go, to want to grow. And then it almost creates some types and senses of anxiety, frustrations. And it's really just about pausing, taking a nice breath, kind of decompressing, allowing yourself to reground back in. Because our Taurus energy is really going to teach us about being present, about taking joy from the simple pleasures in life, and trying not to rush, right? We currently live in a very fast society as it is. It's fast fashion, it's social media, it's, hey, how are you? I'm good, great, cool. How are you? Good, cool, awesome. And it's not the intentional moment for us to just pause and really allow space. So this new moon leads off of what we discussed a lot with the Aries new moon, which was about that foundational growth. And now it's asking us to really think about the seeds that you planted in the last new moon, what has come to fruition, what felt really good, what felt kind of icky. And then what are you going to use to then take it in? So this new moon is really here to help you know your worth, to be a little bit more in your feminine energy of receiving and making yourself a vibrational match to what you want. And then allowing it to flow rather than always fighting to struggle with your fight in life. It's where you anchor. It's where you really put in the want to make it a reality. And it really begins with a seed around the trust, the openness, the allowance of your receiving, and just giving space for everything to come into time. The only other thing that's really to note is we do have a big shift happening, and right, Brian said it, take it as you want, take it as you will. There's going to be certain levels to which you're like, cool, I love what you've said. And then now I maybe start getting into more of the stuff where you're like, okay, lost me a little bit. We just see that Mars is going into Leo tomorrow, which if you know anything about Leos, Brian, they are very big personalities. They have this want to be king of the pride. They come with big force and in a really great way. So this big shift in line with the Taurus is asking you to pause, asking you really to take the confidence and the self-belief to go after what you want, because the seeds that you've planted, you have to have trust in them. With that in mind, you're now then discussing how you actually have Jupiter moving into Taurus, where it's going to stay for the next year. And that really just is going to give you the time, right? This is all about pausing, reflecting, and instead of this cycle necessarily ending in the next moon cycle period, you actually have more time because Jupiter is going to stay centered and forced so that your energies can work. You can start to really look at the month over month, the day over the day, and the ability to just expand and grow and have a lot of more depth and connection to what you're really trying to build into your life right now.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, that's right in line with what I was kind of reading about. Thought it was interesting. One article called this moon, because it's in Venus, or Taurus is ruled by Venus, the warrior goddess moon. So all of the warrior goddesses out there, our feminine oriented beings. I mean, we're all oriented by feminine, but the ones that prefer majority of feminine, this is a powerful moon for that. And then just want to reemphasize, like, coming out of the eclipse energy. I mean, I personally felt that in the last 30 days, my life in some aspects was kind of turned upside down. I had my entire basement flooded with water. So I'm still processing what that means. And then our sweet dog Nala, we found is very much, pretty much at the end of her life here. So we'll be transitioning, crossing the Rainbow Bridge here eventually, and then a few other things without getting into too much detail. But I was like, wow, okay, eclipse, thanks for like, I was wondering what is this going to bring for me? And yeah, it kind of turned some things upside down. And so now it's really thinking about, where can I find some comfort, some stability, you know, some what's the word I'm looking for?
Grounding.
Stabilization, I guess, grounding, yeah, all those things. And so I just want to reemphasize that. I think that could be true for a lot of folks out there listening, and you know, just a time to center, you know, get back to reintegrate or integrate some of the new things that may have come up in the last 28 days or so. So yeah, appreciate that.
Finalize and add on that, just so you know, the Taurus sign is a very fixed earth sign. So that's why this common theme of like grounding, pause comes in, because it's asking us to connect back to our world, which really just comes in that like replenishment, which I think we kind of lack right now. And I think is really important just to remind yourself, like, it's okay to pause. It's okay to take notice. It's okay to slow down and be like, whoa, so that you can like create the foundation. Because if you have the foundation, it's a lot easier to grow from versus just like hoping that, oh, okay, I did this, I did that, and then it not actually eventually leading to anything, versus the pause to say, I know that if I place my energy here, I've created so much more space so that when I step to the next task, this kind of self-sufficiently runs on its own. And that's what Taurus energy helps us do and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And just want to like add to that like while things do get turned upside down and while there can be some chaos or things end, with all new moons, it's the start of a new cycle. But anytime something gets damaged or broken or ends, it creates an opportunity. Like our insurance person emailed me today and she's like, I filled out the entire estimate for you and I'm ready. We're just going to send you the $15,000. I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, appreciate it. And so we get to do renovations on our basement. We haven't been able to, or haven't done since we moved in 4 years ago. And even with the whole conversation around what does life look like after, Nala passes, we've already started thinking about, traveling and doing some exciting things that, we didn't do as much with our lives kind of centered around our pets. So good can, most of the time, right? I would argue all the time, comes out of some painful situations. So we want to get into some cards, pull some cards for the collective us. What deck you working with?
I got Bill with me.
Nice.
It is Taurus season after all, so we know that Bill is bringing big energy. Could also be where some of it comes from.
Absolutely.
Here's that May 1st baby, ready to enter in. Just to add on with card readings, again, take what you want, take what you will. There's differences between multiple different decks. And as Brian stated, if you ever want any more research or references, you can reach out to either one of us around what decks we use, where we find resources on how to read. It's all very intuitive based, and sometimes you'll pull a card that resonates and other times it doesn't. So never like put too much pressure into it.
Yeah. Like you can find any meaning out of any of the card that you pull, but I happen to believe that the right card finds you in the moment for what you need.
For example, this week I've pulled cards twice, both in moments in which I really felt I needed some message. I shuffled like I'm doing now. And each time over it was a 3 or 4 day separate apart, I pulled the exact same 3 cards. And I swear I shuffled. It wasn't like, ooh, let me pick these. It was the exact same 3 on that Monday and the exact same 3 on that Thursday. And I was like, okay.
What are the odds?
Here. I'm sorry I missed it the first time. Let me bring it back in.
Yeah. That's awesome. Love when that happens.
Yeah. Love. And then also you're like, okay, they're laughing at us up there a little bit at times, I think, making us giggle. All right, I pulled 2 cards. We have Teresa, time out. You've been so busy taking care of everyone else's need, but now it's time to stop and take care of yourself.
Interesting.
Weird, seems not on theme at all. You've got this just beautiful woman kind of surrendering herself into a little hug with some angel wings. And then Layla, spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions. Ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective. And once again, you've got this just more childlike but beautiful woman with some angel wings kind of sitting in nature. And again, I can take better up close pictures that we can post with this video, but right there, I mean, perfect. I know we're talking about 2 very similar themes around spending time really working on your desires and intention. Brian just mentioned his 2 situations briefly and finding the positive perspectives in both of them. And then more than anything, again, just taking care of yourself. You can't continue to do for others if you don't actually take the space to really ask yourself what you need and make sure that you're replenishing yourself day over day.
Yeah, perfect. I don't think there's probably not any other cards in that deck that would fit better for this theme. So I'll pull one. I'm doing a different deck than we've done before, Indigo Angel. So you may have heard of indigo children, star seeds. This deck is oriented, I think. So Doreen Virtue, who I think, right, she did the Messages from Angels deck, very well-known oracle card maker. I think she created this one with her son, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, see what they have to say. Think about it. Let's see what that has to say. So we've got a light white and beige kind of coloring, someone in contemplation, angel wings on the back. Think about it. Ask you to step back from your current path or thought process and review the situation you're asking about. There's an unseen aspect, and the angels guide you to slow down. Weird. So you can move forward with the whole picture in sight. This card can also be cautionary if you were about to make a radical change impulsively. While it may still be the best path, this card asks you to look into the alternatives first. You're exquisitely sensitive to energy, and our mission is to heal and transform negative energy into positive. However, there's always a better way to do so. This card asks you to research your options for making the healthful changes that are part of your indigo mission. Again, doesn't apply at all. Yeah, never cease to amaze. Similar things, right? Connected to the first two that Isa pulled here, that I think what I'm feeling like as I read through all these and just after these readings is coming out of this kind of chaotic time, or maybe where there's some big shifts that happen from the eclipse to integrate some of these things, or, you know, ground yourself again, take the time. Is this the right change, or how do I change a negative thing into a positive thing? You know, what can I take from this to, you know, move forward in my life? So awesome. Love it.
The one last thing I'll just add, if you're wanting to further a little bit more, I know in our last one, we did a little more of our intention writing because it was very important for that Aries new moon. This one, a couple of things you can do. Setting intentions every new moon is always wonderful, especially around like how you'll feel grounded, what you want to see come from a space of allowance. Making a vision board, it's a great time. Taurus again craves that like fixation, so to have a constant viewpoint is really great. Yoga is encouraged during this time. Candles, anything that has to do with like Venus or Aphrodite, so just finding that continued sense of love, so creating an altar. It's a great time to really work on clearing your heart chakra and just working on heart healing. It falls online with the Venus. And then we're just finding like self-indulgence. So as we saw in those cards, like a bath, a walk, time in water, whatever is that fills your cup to feel like you're getting self-nurtured is just really great to help you find the grounding connection point to this new moon, so that you can walk away with a little bit of the intention setting with it.
Yeah, love it. Agreed. Yeah, some of the questions I wrote down was, you know, what was shaken up during this time? You know, what could benefit from some grounding, stabilization? What brings comfort and support? So right along those same lines. So yeah, tailoring your intentions around that.
And
You know,
feeling okay with saying no, like if you have plans and you don't want to go, don't. Like your home is going to be your sacred space right now, that being home will just in general give thanks to the new moon and what's offering and help you feel that connection back. If all the other things feel really challenging or unable, just being home, spend an extra 20 minutes before you rush out the door, have a cup of coffee in the morning and feel that ritual come back in.
and if it would stop raining here, I would go out and like do some more hiking now. I should change my mindset about that. Maybe it'd be more fun if I hiked in torrential downpour and lightning and
Yeah, that's what that sounds right.
all right, awesome. Well, yeah, I think that does it. Any final thoughts from you?
No, I feel clear. As always, really appreciate everybody's time. we'll continue to pursue doing our new moon. And if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out to Brian or myself, who we're here. We've got all the cards and some of the answers, but not all of them.
Yeah, and you can do so through either the website, inevitableu.com, I think you can comment or something on the podcast channel, or an Instagram at the inevitable you, Facebook as well. So any method that you prefer. Thanks everyone for listening. Have an awesome new moon in Taurus. Take care.